You okay? What we got here? Okay. Should be. Trades are going everywhere in the NBA. Okay. Let me test my mic quality. I did mess with it yesterday. Let me see how it sounds. Let me see how it sounds. Okay, it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good. All right. Yeah. So, let's see. If you're for wondering, I am using the new microphone I got, and I actually will be talking about some of the Wii stuff later on in the stream, so that should be fun. Let's see. I'm drinking all this stuff up. Okay. Do. Let me see here. Okay. All right. All right, chat. It is officially time. We've made it all the way through the regular season and the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, and it's officially Super Bowl time. We are 4 days away from the Super Bowl. I am really looking forward to it. And so, in short, this may not be the matchup everybody wanted, but I'm happy with it. But yeah, so we're gonna get in. We're gonna recap the championship games from 2 weeks ago, and then we're gonna go and predict, and then we're gonna predict the Super Bowl, and then after I predict the Super Bowl, I'm going to be predicting the NFL honors, which is going to be happening tomorrow. So that should be really fun to do. So, yeah, I'm finished with classes for now. I will be leaving to do some snowboarding soon, so that should be really fun. And so yeah. Anyways, we're gonna get started with the championship recaps. First off, it was the AFC Championship, which I actually predicted this game to a T in my championship prediction video stream. If you didn't watch that stream, I predicted this game to a freaking T. I predicted this was going to be a defensive, low-scoring game with the Patriots winning, but with the Broncos covering. And what happened? Exactly what I said was going to happen. Drake May was going to make mistakes, and Jarrett Stidham was going to make mistakes. And so now the Patriots, and so this game was weird because this was very defensive. Both sides were going at each other, and then Jarrett Stidham, I think, was passed for a touchdown. He looked good. I mean, I I was surprised to see it because I saw Jarrett Stidham and he looked actually pretty good in that drive where he went and scored a touchdown. And then what happened? And then it just all went downhill from here. I think the Patriots they drove down and kicked a field goal to make it 7-3, and then eventually I think they turned the ball over or something. I don't remember, but Drake May went down, scored a touchdown, and then basically we just kept that same score because, and then in the second half it started to snow. So it started to snow. I think there was like 6 missed kicks. Like both sides were missing field goals, stuff. Sean Payton and the thing is, Sean Payton for some reason was not taking the field goals and was going for it on 4th down, which I felt like was a dumb decision because he should have taken the points, especially in the low-scoring game where the defense was playing well. I think the Broncos should have just taken the points, and they possibly could have won this game. Not saying they would have, but they possibly could have won this game and gone to the Super Bowl. But anyways, that's it here there. Drake May didn't have that good of a game. I don't think he even broke 100. I didn't think he broke 100 yards passing. But the biggest winner for them was, I think, basically chip down shots, shots that slowly drive down, and then just slowly grind. It was a really nasty, grindy defensive game. And then I think turnovers is what killed the Broncos, especially when Jarrett Stidham threw that interception, game-sealing interception to end this game. And in the Patriots, they're officially back in the Super Bowl. I predicted this game to a freaking T. I knew Drake May and Jarrett Stidham this was not going to be an offensive game. It was going to be a nasty, grindy game. So I managed to predict that. I managed to predict that game to a T. I had Patriots winning, Broncos cover, and they did. Broncos did cover. The spread was like 3.5, so it was an easy cover for Denver. Well, not easy, but it was a cover, and cover nonetheless. And so yeah, that's pretty much wrap up. I don't have a lot to say about the AFC Championship other than it was really slow, really grindy. I have a lot more things to say about the NFC Championship, but yeah. Anyways, Patriots, their first year with Mike Vrabel as their head coach. We're gonna get to Mike Vrabel and talking about the NFL honors. And the dude's a phenomenal coach. I mean, Drake May's had a phenomenal year. His second year in the NFL, and he's officially in the Super Bowl. I'm happy to see it for Drake May. And so now he's in the Super Bowl. So yeah, good for the Patriots. Good for the Patriots. They're back. But the Patriots, the Empire is back. So yeah, good shit, New England. And now let's get on to the NFC Championship game. I was so freaking split on this game. You should see it on the stream. I predicted this game. I thought the Rams were actually going to do it. I thought the Rams had a really good shot at beating the Seahawks in this game, and they had plenty of chances to do it. But the thing is, Seattle's just way too good. Seattle has constantly proved me wrong throughout this entire playoff run. The first game was with the Niners. I thought the Niners were going to keep it close and upset the Seahawks. Didn't happen. They got built to ass. And then the Rams, I thought the Rams were more experienced. They had Matthew Stafford playing at a high level. They had good weapons. And then they just couldn't handle the might of the Seahawks. And some of it was on themselves. Some of them were shots of the foot, definitely. Which, that game was absolutely crazy. Because I think, it was back and forth the entire way. I mean, I think Seattle scored 2 touchdowns. I think Rams kicked a field goal. Rams were slowly storming their way back. And then they took a lead, and then I think the Seahawks scored a touchdown to go into halftime. Well, I think it was like 17-13. I think it was like 14-17 at halftime. Then the Rams were leading. So I was thinking the Rams were actually going to stop them. Stop the Seahawks and get to the Super Bowl again. But Sam Darnold, man. I have constantly doubted Sam Darnold throughout this entire playoff run. He has proven me wrong. I'm happy to see it for Darnold. A dude was balling out there. JSN was a freaking monster, and the defense was literally going to town on Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford was still going. He could still sling the ball, obviously. Matthew Stafford's literally a freaking beast. And then yeah, Puka Nacua had a huge catch for a touchdown. And so it was like a back and forth kind of game. And with I think the Seahawks having the advantage. So the Seahawks, and then the thing is, the Rams had a shot to win this game. They drove all the way down the field. They converted a fourth down with Matthew Stafford scrambling. And then they converted another fourth down with a pitch to Nacua. And then they got to the end zone. And they were going for it. They went and they could have just taken the points. Now, McVay could have done two things. They could have taken the points and then play some defense. It's not like your defense has been playing bad. No, your defense hasn't been playing bad. It's actually been playing up good against Darnold. But the thing is, Sean McVay decided to go for it, and then he tried to throw it to the back, and it didn't work. I don't know why he decided to go for it, because I feel like because that would have forced him to have to go for a touchdown at the end of the game. When they could have just kicked the 3, kicked off to Darnold, stopped him, get the ball back, drove down, kick a game-winning field goal. That's what you could have done, or a game-tying field goal, I think. But Stafford I think it's just that fourth down is what killed the Rams. And Seahawks, Kenneth Walker's a beast. They could not stop him, and they were converting first downs, drain the clock. Matthew Stafford barely had any time, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out for the Rams. The Seahawks managed to clinch it, and the Seahawks move on to Super Bowl 60. So, what a game! What a game this was! This was a freaking barn burner for the Seahawks. This was a great game for the Seahawks. So yeah, this was the good game in my opinion, and I think, and now we'll see who I think is gonna win the Super Bowl. Now, let's get on to actually what this stream is, the Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl, I'm going to be looking differently, which, by the way, my record is 6-6. I knew I was going to have to have the Super Bowl decide to get to 500, if I'm going to go 500, or above or below 500. But yeah, the Super Bowl has to be my decision. So, Super Bowl 60, the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. And who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl? Now, this is going to be a different kind of prediction, because I'm going to be predicting who I think is going to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to be predicting the spread. I'm going to be predicting of the over-under for this game. I'm going to be predicting the Super Bowl MVP, and I think I may have chip something in there. I'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Super Bowl 60 is here, and yeah, we'll get to talking about it. So let's get started. And talk about it. So let's talk about how both these teams got here. So New England, you could talk about how cupcake of a schedule New England had getting into the Super Bowl, which, to be fair, they had to play the 7-seed Chargers with If Man at quarterback. They had to play C.J. Stroud, and then they had to play Denver. Which, to be fair, I think if Bo Nix played in that Denver game, I think Denver would have gotten in, but it just wasn't meant to be. But the thing is, Patriots, they found a way. They played two super defenses. They played the Houston defense. They played Houston's defense, and then they played the Broncos defense. Two excellent defenses, and they just found a way to win. They just did. That's just the New England Patriots. They found a way to win. Even if it was Jarrett Stidham or if it was Bo Nix, they just found a way. And so the game with Houston. I mean, C.J. Stroud was turning the ball over, and then Drake May didn't have that good of a game. He was turning turnovers. He was turning the ball over too, but they still won the game. So, but yeah, the biggest thing I think New England has to win this game, they're going to play another super defense. They're playing another super defense in the Seattle Seahawks. Let's talk about the Seahawks. Seahawks were the 1 seed in the NFC. They they beat in. They were on a bye. Then they beat the living crap out of San Francisco, and then they beat the Rams. They managed to get away from the Rams to go on to the Super Bowl. And so Seattle has looked like a juggernaut this season. And Sam Darnold is balling out of his mind. JSN is a freaking stud. Cooper Kupp is there too. They have Bobo. They have they have Kenneth Walker. And then in the defense, you got Eamon Worry. You got and then you got the dark side. They got a stacked core. So I just seen that in. But so now they face each other. Which the Patriots, they have Drake May, they have Stephon Diggs, they have Keyshawn Boutte, they have Travion Henderson. They do have some pieces in there. Stephon Diggs, even though Stephon Diggs is no longer who he used to be, no longer the receiver he was, he's still a solid receiver. And then Keyshawn Boutte's been a pretty good receiver for them too. And then Hunter Henry. So the Patriots do have some weapons. My main concern is that offensive line. If that offensive line is going to give Drake May enough time to to throw the ball, which in my opinion, it's probably not, considering Seattle's been really good with pressuring the quarterback this year. Because they managed to get pressure on Brock Purdy and to get pressure on Matthew Stafford. So now they got to face Drake May, which Drake May has had to deal with pressure through this entire playoff run almost. Because they had to deal with Houston, who is a really good defensive pressure, and they also got to deal with Denver, which Denver also pressures. So they've been playing good defenses. And this time they're playing a defense and also an offense, which the Patriots defense isn't that bad. I don't think the Patriots defense is bad at all. I think they played pretty well. So because they managed to stop the Bills and Josh Allen one game. That's the only thing about the Patriots, is that they have a cupcake schedule. They had a fourth place schedule this year, and they played the NFC South and I think the AFC North, if I remember, which neither of those divisions have been close to good this year. But New England is at a disadvantage here. Seattle is favored in this game by 4.5. I think, au contrary to the people that do think Seattle is just going to absolutely have their way with the Patriots, I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a close back and forth game. I know this sounds shocking because Seattle is a super team. Seattle is a really good team. Sam Darnold is a really good quarterback. But I feel like this game, little defense is going to be played. I think little defense is going to be played, and I think it's just going to go back and forth between the two. And similar to the Super Bowl 49, I think it's going to go back and forth. But I don't know if the Seahawks are going to make the same mistake they did a decade ago. Which we all know what happened on that Super Bowl. And so Seahawks, and so currently the spread is 3.5, which the current spread is 4.5 in favor of the Seahawks. And then the over/under is 45.5 points, and then the money line is 238. So I'm gonna give a prediction. It's probably not going to be the good hit. It's probably not hit, but I've been disrespecting the Seahawks the entire time throughout this playoff run. I know. I disrespected them when they played the Niners. I thought the Niners had a really good chance of upsetting them. And then the Rams, and then I thought the Rams were gonna do it and go to the Super Bowl. And now Seattle's proved me wrong twice. And will they do it a third time? I don't think so. I am taking the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. I think the Seahawks have earned my respect. I think Sam Darnold is his year. I think this is Sam Darnold's year. I think this is Seattle's year. I think Seattle's going to overcome their demons from Super Bowl 49, and they're going to beat the Patriots. I think in this game, Seattle wins, New England covers. I didn't say if Seattle was going to cover. I think New England's going to cover. I think Seattle's going to get away with a field goal. I could see the Patriots fighting until the very end, defense getting stops, and then Patriots going down, scoring back and forth. But yeah, the spread is 4.5. Again, I am taking Seattle to win and New England to cover the spread. I think this can be a close game, but I think Seattle's going to pull it out by like 3 points. I think because Seattle's going to pull it out by 3 points, I think it should be an entertaining Super Bowl. And then the over-under in this game is 45.5. I'm going to be taking the under in this game. I don't think it's going to go above 45, but I feel like it could be like, I think there's going to be, well, if there's like 20, I feel like there'd be like 3 or 4 touchdowns but three or 4 touchdowns from Drake May? I'm split. I'm split on the over-under because I can see this being, because I still got New England to cover. I just don't know how many touchdowns they're going to score, which I think it could be low scoring. I can see this being a low scoring game, but I think it's going to go. I think it's gonna go over. I think it's gonna go over. I think both sides are gonna have big plays and they're gonna have touchdowns. I think it's gonna go above 45.5 points in this Super Bowl. And now we'll get but yeah, Seattle wins, New England covers, and I have the over in this game. I think, and then for my Super Bowl MVP, who I think is gonna win Super Bowl MVP, JSN. I'm going to pick JSN to win, Jackson Smith-Njigba to win the Super Bowl. Not to win the Super Bowl, to be the Super Bowl MVP of this game. I think JSN is going to have really clutch catches in the Super Bowl. And yeah, to see him get a ring and get a Super Bowl MVP, I think that's going to be what. I think that's what's going to be. I think, yeah, JSN, I think he's a stud. I think he's going to get some clutch catches with Darnold's under pressure. I think, and yeah, I think it's going to go to JSN. But, that's the Super Bowl. I pick Seattle. Seattle will win. New England to cover. The over. I'm taking the over, and I'm taking the. And I have JSN as my Super Bowl MVP. All right. Now, next up, let's go ahead and talk about the NFL honors. So, NFL honors is tomorrow, and we have a lot to get through in this. I have my phone because I'm reading these off my phone, and we're going to go through each of these, and we're going to start off, and we're going to go through our Coach of the Year stuff. We're going to do our NFL Honors Awards. So we're going to start off with Coach of the Year. So Coach of the Year this year is actually really competitive. I don't have a clear decision on who I think is going to be Coach of the Year. But the candidates are Liam Cohen from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ben Johnson from the Chicago Bears, Mike Macdonald from the Seahawks, Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers, and Mike Vrabel with the Patriots. This is actually a really tough award because I could see them. Because think about this: Liam Cohen, he turned around the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were like, I think 4-13, and then he got them to the playoffs and won the division. Ben Johnson, first year with the Bears, he turned the Bears around. He got them to win the NFC North and to win a playoff game. And then Mike Macdonald coached the Seahawks to the 1 seed. And now Mike Macdonald's in the Super Bowl. And then Kyle Shanahan had to work through an ICU Niners team and got them to the playoffs and even won a playoff game. And then Mike Vrabel, he turned around a 4-13 New England Patriots team, and he took them all the way to the Super Bowl. Now, who do I think is going to win Coach of the Year? I'm very split between all 5 of these guys. I can see any one of them winning it. But if I had to go pick one, I'm going to pick Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel just had an impressive turnaround. Nobody expected the Patriots to be this good. I think Patriots, they were 4-13. They were expected to be like, I think 8-9 or 7-10 maybe this year. But guess what? They're 14-3. Sure, Mickey Mouse schedule all you want, but it doesn't erase 14-3. And it doesn't erase the fact that they're in the Super Bowl and they beat the Houston Texans and the Denver Broncos to do it. So, yeah, and now they're facing the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, Mike Vrabel is Mike Coach of the Year. Right, next up is going to be Assistant Coach of the Year. So this is basically the coordinators. Which for this list we have Vic Fangio, we got Brian Flores, we got Vance Joseph, Clint Kubiak, and Josh McDaniels. Which Vic Fangio is on the Eagles, is the defensive coordinator of the Eagles. Brian Flores is the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. Vance Joseph is the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. And then we got Clint Kubiak, who is the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. And finally, Josh McDaniels, who is the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. I feel like there's you can't go wrong with any of them. I don't think Josh McDaniels is going to win it, or Clint Kubiak. I think it's going to be Vance Joseph. I think it's going to be a defensive coach, whether it's Vance Joseph, Brian Flores, and Vic Fangio. Which Vic Fangio has had a really good defense this year. Brian Flores has also had a really good defense this year. But the thing is, I think it's more cut and dry. I'm thinking Vance Joseph, for the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, is going to win the Assistant Coach of the Year. I think he's coached that Broncos defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL. And so, yeah, I'm thinking Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator, and he's going to win the Assistant Coach of the Year. Next up, we'll be working on our next award is going to be our Comeback Player of the Year award. So basically, this is for anyone who is there a thing outside? Oh yeah, there is. But yeah, this is basically for the guys that got injured last year, and then they came back. God, what is out there? Hold on. I'm gonna be right back. Oh, that person's okay. Anyways, yeah. I'm thinking, yeah, Comeback Player of the Year. It's basically for the people that coming back from an injury that they had last season, and then they play really well the next year. So for this list, we have Christian McCaffrey, running back of the 49ers, Dak Prescott, who's the quarterback of the Cowboys, Stephon Diggs, who was the wide receiver for the Patriots. You got Aiden Hutchinson, Aiden Hutchinson, who's the edge rusher for the Detroit Lions, and then Trevor Lawrence, who's the quarterback for the Jaguars. I think this is more cut and dry. As much as I love Aiden Hutchinson, I don't think he's going to get it. I think this is a really cut and dry. I don't think there's a debate with this one. I think it's going to go to Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to win Comeback Player of the Year. I mean, the dude had dealt with Achilles tendonitis in both of his Achilles, and then that took him out for most of the year last year. And so now he came back, and then the rest of the team got injured. He put the team on his fucking back. So he had to go, and he helped to will his team through all the injuries to go to the playoffs, beat the Eagles, and then lose to the Seahawks. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey, I think he's had a phenomenal season. He proved why I think he's one of the best running backs in the league. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to win Comeback Player of the Year. Next up, we have the Next up, we actually have the. Let me see here. Let's do the offensive. Let's do offensive player of the year. So offensive player of the year, basically, who is the best? So basically, who is the best player on offense this year? The candidates for this one is Drake May, the quarterback for the Patriots, Christian McCaffrey, who's the running back for the 49ers, Puka Nacua, who's the wide receiver for the Rams, Bijan Robinson, who's the running back for the Falcons, finally, Jackson Smith-Njigba for the wide receiver for the Seahawks. This is a really tough one to pick because I don't think Drake May is getting it, or Christian McCaffrey's done enough. He's in the conversation, but I don't think Christian McCaffrey's going to get it, and neither was Bijan because Falcons don't know how to use Bijan right. So it leaves me the two of them, which is Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Both are phenomenal wide receivers this year, and you can't go wrong with either one of them. But who do I think is going to win offensive player of the year? To be honest, if you're a Seahawks fan, close your ears. I'm taking Puka Nacua. I think Puka Nacua is going to win offensive player of the year. I think it's just he's the most targeted wide receiver. He's had some crazy catches. And he has been clutch for the Rams. I mean, the dude is an absolute monster on offense, and he's really freaking hard to guard. So, I mean, and even then with the Seahawks defense, Puka Nacua was just sliding through. So it's like I think Puka Nacua, and I wouldn't be mad if Jackson Smith-Njigba wins it either, because Jackson Smith-Njigba has also had some clutch catches. But I think Puka Nacua is just going to get it. I think you can't go wrong with either one of them, but I think it's going to be Puka Nacua for the offensive player of the year. And so now let's get on to the defensive player of the year. This is a lot more lopsided than the freaking comeback player of the year. This is a really lopsided one. So defensive player of the year, best player on defense, which it has 5 guys, which is Will Anderson Jr., edge rusher for the Texans, Nick Bonito, who's the linebacker for the Broncos, Myles Garrett, who's the defensive edge rusher of the Cleveland Browns, Aiden Hutchinson, who is the edge rusher for the Lions, and then Micah Parsons, who is the edge rusher from the Green Bay Packers. I don't think there's a debate who's winning this one. It's freaking Myles Garrett. He's gonna win defensive player of the year. I mean, the dude had a freaking career. He had a freaking phenomenal season. He broke the sack record. He took it away from TJ Watt. He broke the sack record for the most sacks in an NFL season. That is freaking insane. I mean, for a guy like Myles Garrett, he plays so well, but he's on the freaking Cleveland Browns. That's the worst part about it. He's on the freaking Cleveland Browns. But the fact that he still broke the sack record is insane. Dude, that's going to go down in history. Myles Garrett is an absolute stud. I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, let's go on to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. So basically, best rookie on offense. So we have 5 candidates for this one. We have Jackson Dart from the quarterback of the New York Giants. You have Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have TreVeyon Henderson, who's the running back for the Patriots. And then Tetairoa McMillan, who's the wide receiver for the Panthers. And then Tyler Shough, who's the quarterback for the Saints. A lot of 3 NFC South teams. But this is, I think this has become a lot more lopsided, not because Tetairoa McMillan, he has 1,000 yards receiving for the Panthers. He's been a really phenomenal wide receiver for them. Jackson Dart, I think, has looked good for his few starts. The only thing is concussions and injuries kept him out. Emeka Egbuka had a really strong start to the season. He was the clear-cut favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year at one point, but the thing is, his numbers dipped because I think the schemes tried to figure him out, and then Baker Mayfield also had to deal with and then the Bucs were injured, and Baker Mayfield had to deal with injuries, so they couldn't get Egbuka going, And then TreVeyon Henderson, who's a great running back for the Patriots. TreVeyon Henderson, great running back for them. And then we have Tedrick McMillan, who's been for the Panthers, who is a phenomenal wide receiver. He really has helped out Bryce Young in that system. And the dude has been clutch for the Panthers, and obviously 1,000 yards receiving is something to talk about if you're a Panthers fan. And then there's Tyler Shough, which Tyler Shough had like half a year for his production. And as much as he's played well, I don't think he's done enough. So who I think is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to be T-Mac, Tedrick McMillan. I think Tedrick McMillan is going to win the Offensive Player of the Year. I think it's just basically fell his way because it's like if he had 1,000 yards receiving and everyone else kept their pace, I think Emeka Egbuka could have won it. But I think Tedrick McMillan, I think he's earned the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's been a phenomenal wide receiver for the Panthers, and yeah, I think he deserves it. So yeah. Anyways, let's get on to the Defensive Rookie of the Year. So for the Defensive Player of the Year, or Defensive Rookie of the Year, best rookie who's played on defense this year, we have Abdul Carter, who's a linebacker edge rusher from the Giants. And then we had Nick Emmanwori, the safety for the Seahawks. James Pierce Jr. from a edge rusher and linebacker from the Falcons. You have Carson Schwarzenegger, linebacker for the Cleveland Browns, and then Xavier Watts, who's the safety for the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like this one's a little bit more cut too. I think all of them have played well. Abdul Carter, I think, has played well. Emmanwori has played well. All of them have played really well. But I think Carson Schwarzenegger has been a really good rookie linebacker this year. I'm thinking Carson Schwarzenegger is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's been a phenomenal linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. And so, yeah, I don't have a lot to say about Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I do think Carson Schwarzenegger is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Next up, we have the Protector of the Year. This is actually a new award for the NFL honors. Protector of the Year. This shows your big offensive lineman. You have Garrett Bowles, tackle for the Denver Broncos. You have Aaron Brewer, the center for the Miami Dolphins. You have Creed Humphrey, who's the center for the Kansas City Chiefs. You have Quinn Meinerz, the guard for the Broncos, not the Bears. Penei Sewell, who's the tackle for the Detroit Lions, and then Joe Thuney, who's the guard for the Bears. All these guys are really good tackles. I like Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell, I think, is one of the best tackles in the game. But I think it's going to go to Joe Thuney. I think Joe Thuney, he's a phenomenal guard for the Bears. I think he's gone his last few years. I'd rather have a veteran who hadn't had an opportunity to win the award earlier to win it before they retire. If they don't, I think it's going to be Penei Sewell. But I'm going to I'm going with Joe Thuney for my Protector of the Year this year for the Bears. And then finally, the award you have all been waiting for, the MVP award. So we have 5 candidates on this: 4 quarterbacks, 1 running back, and you never guess who that is. So yeah, let's go through our list. We have Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. We have Trevor Lawrence, quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have Drake May, who's the quarterback for the New England Patriots. You have Christian McCaffrey, who's the running back for the 49ers. And finally, Matthew Stafford, the quarterback for the LA Rams. Now, this has been really a two-way race between these guys for the MVP, for Drake May or Matthew Stafford. But who do I think has done more? Do I think it's been Stafford or Drake May? because Drake May has played bad games this year. I'm not going to forget some of those games. Raiders game, and so has Matthew Stafford. Both of them have had bad games. I think in this game, I think for this year, give me Matthew Stafford to win MVP. I think Matthew Stafford is going to win the MVP. I think he's going to go. Oh, yawning. I think Stafford has had a phenomenal season, especially for his age. The dude has gotten some age on him, and he had even back problems at the beginning of the year, and he had a freaking weird cart thing outside their camp. Um, and so, yeah, I think it's going to be Matthew Stafford to win the MVP. And so, yeah, that's my NFL Honors Awards. I would do Walter Payton Man of the Year, but I don't think that's really big enough for me to judge. But I think it's going to be, but yeah, that's going to be it. So, Super Bowl, I have the Seahawks to win, Patriots to cover. I have the over on, and I also have JSN to win Super Bowl MVP. I then have my NFL Honors Awards, which give me a refresh here real quick. I had Matthew Stafford winning MVP, Puka Nacua winning Offensive Player of the Year. You got Myles Garrett winning Defensive Player of the Year. I have Cheddarrell McMillan winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. I have Carson Schwessinger winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. I have Christian McCaffrey winning Comeback Player of the Year. I have Mike Vrabel winning Coach of the Year. I have Vance Joseph winning Assistant Coach of the Year. And I also have Joe Thuney winning Guard of the Year. And so, yeah, I think this is going to be the last video. This is going to be the second to last stream I'll do on the NFL. I'll do my last one recapping the Super Bowl. And then I have another stream I plan to rank all the primetime games. So that should be really fun. And so, yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for coming out, watching. Expect more news about the Wii stuff because I'm going to be. I'm hoping to have our first Wii stream soon. I'll give you guys updates. I'm busy today, so I won't be able to have enough time. I'll give you all an answer coming Saturday. Maybe I'll give you an answer the next couple days. But I plan for our first group stream to be on the weekend. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. I'll see you guys.